What if your immune system isn't weak at all, but simply waiting for the right signal to wake up? Scientists now believe many immune cells don't stop working. They go into a resting state, conserving energy until the body tells them it's time to act. That signal doesn't come from medicine alone. It comes from your daily habits, especially the foods you eat. Recent research is revealing how nutrition quietly shapes immune readiness, influencing whether these sleeping immune cells stay dormant or remain alert and prepared. In this video, we'll explore how science explains this process and why your everyday diet plays a far bigger role in immune strength than most people realize. Deep inside your body, right now, there are immune cells that are not actively fighting anything. They aren't weak, damaged, or useless. They are waiting. Scientists call them memory or resting immune cells, and their job is to stay quiet until the moment they are needed. When a familiar threat appears, these cells can wake up rapidly and mount a powerful defense. What researchers have discovered in recent years is that the environment inside your body determines how alert, responsive, and effective these sleeping immune cells are. And one of the strongest influences on that environment is the food you eat every single day. Your immune system is not a simple on-off switch. It is a living network made of trillions of cells that require energy, raw materials, and chemical signals to function correctly. When nutrition is poor, immune cells conserve energy and stay in a low activity state. When nutrition is abundant and balanced, immune cells receive signals that conditions are safe for growth, repair, and rapid response. This is where food begins to play a powerful role, not by magically activating immune cells overnight, but by restoring the internal conditions that allow dormant immune cells to function at their full potential. One of the most important discoveries in immunology is that immune cells are highly sensitive to metabolic signals. Glucose availability, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals all influence whether immune cells remain in standby mode or prepare for action. When your diet is dominated by refined sugars, ultra-processed foods, and nutrient-poor calories, immune cells become sluggish. In contrast, nutrient-dense foods provide the building blocks immune cells need to divide, communicate, and respond quickly. Vitamin C is a clear example. Immune cells, especially white blood cells, store vitamin C at concentrations far higher than those found in the bloodstream. This tells scientists that immune cells actively depend on it. Vitamin C supports the movement of immune cells to infection sites and protects them from oxidative damage during battle. When vitamin C intake is low, immune cells struggle to respond efficiently, remaining slower and less aggressive when threats appear. Vitamin D plays a different but equally critical role. It functions more like a hormone than a vitamin and directly influences gene expression inside immune cells. Research has shown that vitamin D helps immune cells recognize pathogens and regulates how strongly they respond. When vitamin D levels are insufficient, immune cells may stay in a semi-inactive state, unable to fully engage. This is why populations with low vitamin D levels often experience more frequent infections and slower immune responses. Zinc is another nutrient that acts like a switch for immune readiness. It is required for immune cell development, signaling, and communication. Without enough zinc, immune cells cannot divide properly or send clear signals to one another. Even mild zinc deficiency can reduce immune alertness, leaving cells less capable of responding when danger appears. Foods rich in zinc quietly support immune cells so that when activation is needed, the system responds without delay. Protein intake also determines immune cell behavior. Immune cells are constantly renewing themselves, and this process requires amino acids. Certain amino acids act as signals that encourage immune cells to shift from a resting state into an active one. When protein intake is insufficient, the immune system prioritizes survival over readiness, keeping cells in a low-energy, inactive state. This does not cause immediate illness, but it reduces the body's ability to respond quickly when exposed to viruses or bacteria. Beyond individual nutrients, scientists are paying close attention to the gut-immune connection. A large portion of your immune system resides in your gut, constantly interacting with trillions of microbes. The foods you eat shape this microbial environment, which in turn sends signals to immune cells throughout the body. Diets rich in fiber from vegetables, fruits, and whole foods feed beneficial gut bacteria that produce compounds known as short-chain fatty acids. These compounds have been shown to support immune regulation and readiness, helping immune cells remain balanced rather than overactive or asleep. Fermented foods also play a role here. By supporting a diverse gut microbiome, they help maintain a steady flow of immune signals that keep immune cells trained and responsive. When the gut environment is unhealthy, immune signaling becomes distorted, and immune cells may either overreact or fail to respond when needed. Another key factor scientists have identified is inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation, often driven by poor diet, sends confusing signals to the immune system. Instead of being strategically alert, immune cells become exhausted. They remain technically active, but ineffective, leaving true memory cells less responsive. Foods rich in antioxidants help reduce this background inflammation, clearing the noise so immune cells can receive clear activation signals when necessary. Healthy fats, particularly omega-3 fatty acids, also influence immune cell behavior. These fats help regulate immune responses, preventing excessive inflammation while maintaining responsiveness. When omega-3 intake is low and omega-6 intake is excessive, immune signaling becomes unbalanced. This imbalance can keep immune cells in a dysfunctional state, neither fully resting nor properly activated. What scientists emphasize is that immune cells are not turned on by a single food or meal. Instead, immune readiness is the result of consistent dietary patterns over time. A body regularly supplied with essential nutrients creates an internal environment where immune cells remain healthy, responsive, and capable of rapid activation. In this state, memory immune cells are not asleep in a weakened sense. They are resting in a highly prepared condition. This understanding reshapes how we think about immune health. Rather than waiting until illness strikes, nutrition works quietly in the background, training immune cells long before they are needed. Each balanced meal reinforces immune resilience, while each nutrient deficiency subtly erodes it. Over weeks and months, these effects accumulate, determining whether immune cells respond decisively or hesitate when faced with a threat. Scientists now view food not just as fuel, but as information. Every nutrient sends signals that influence immune cell behavior at the molecular level. When those signals are supportive, immune cells remain vigilant and capable. When they are missing or distorted, immune cells withdraw into a low-function state. Understanding this relationship explains why diet plays such a central role in long-term immune strength and why consistent, nutrient-dense eating can make the difference between an immune system that struggles and one that responds with precision when it matters most. What scientists find especially fascinating is that immune cells don't just respond to threats, they respond to patterns. Over time, your body learns what normal feels like internally. When nutrition, blood sugar, hormones, and inflammation remain balanced, immune cells interpret this stability as a signal that resources are available. In that state, memory immune cells stay calm but alert, conserving energy while remaining ready to act instantly. When that internal balance is disrupted, immune cells shift into survival mode, lowering responsiveness and slowing communication. One of the strongest disruptors of immune readiness is constant blood sugar instability. Diets high in refined carbohydrates and added sugars cause repeated spikes and crashes in blood glucose. These fluctuations place immune cells under metabolic stress. Research shows that immune cells exposed to unstable glucose environments struggle to function efficiently. Instead of preparing for rapid response, they focus on protecting themselves from damage. Over time, this leads to immune fatigue, where cells exist but respond sluggishly when activated. Whole foods rich in complex carbohydrates change this picture. Fiber slows digestion and stabilizes blood sugar, providing immune cells with a steady energy supply. This stability allows immune cells to maintain proper signaling pathways and metabolic flexibility. When energy supply is predictable, immune cells can remain in a rested yet responsive state rather than shutting down or becoming overworked. Scientists have also discovered that micronutrients influence immune cell training. Vitamin A, for example, plays a critical role in immune cell differentiation. It helps guide immature immune cells into specialized roles and supports the integrity of the barriers that block pathogens from entering the body in the first place. Without adequate vitamin A, immune cells lose coordination and the system becomes less effective at recognizing real threats. In this state, memory immune cells may exist, but they are poorly guided and slow to respond. Iron is another nutrient with a delicate role. Immune cells need iron for energy production and DNA synthesis, but excess or deficiency can both impair immune function. Balanced iron intake supports immune cell growth and responsiveness, while imbalance contributes to immune suppression. This balance is one reason diets based on whole foods tend to support immunity better than heavily supplemented or restrictive diets. Selenium, though needed only in tiny amounts, acts as a powerful regulator of immune defense. It supports antioxidant enzymes that protect immune cells during activation. When immune cells fight infections, they generate oxidative stress as a weapon. Selenium helps prevent that weapon from damaging the immune cells themselves. In selenium-deficient states, immune cells hesitate to activate fully because the internal risk is too high. Another major discovery centers on mitochondrial health inside immune cells. Mitochondria are often called the power plants of cells, but in immune cells, they also act as signaling hubs. The quality of fats, antioxidants, and micronutrients you consume directly affects mitochondrial efficiency. When mitochondria are damaged by oxidative stress or nutrient deficiencies, immune cells lose their ability to switch quickly from resting to active states. Foods rich in antioxidants and healthy fats help maintain mitochondrial integrity, keeping immune cells responsive rather than dormant. Chronic dehydration also quietly suppresses immune activity. Immune cells depend on proper fluid balance to move through tissues and circulate efficiently. Even mild dehydration thickens blood and lymph fluid, slowing immune surveillance. While water alone does not activate immune cells, consistent hydration ensures that immune cells can reach sites of infection quickly when they are called into action. Sleep and diet are deeply connected in immune regulation. Certain foods influence the production of neurotransmitters and hormones involved in sleep quality. Poor sleep has been shown to reduce immune memory formation and impair immune activation. When sleep is disrupted, immune cells receive fewer signals to repair, train, and reset. Nutrient-dense diets that support stable blood sugar and neurotransmitter balance indirectly help immune cells remain effective by improving sleep-driven immune recovery. Scientists are also examining how plant compounds, known as phytochemicals, influence immune signaling. These compounds do not act as nutrients in the traditional sense, but they interact with cellular receptors that regulate inflammation and immune activation. Polyphenols found in colorful fruits, vegetables, tea, and spices help fine-tune immune responses, preventing overreaction while preserving readiness. This balance is crucial because an immune system stuck in constant low-grade activation becomes exhausted and less capable of mounting a strong defense when truly needed. Another emerging area of research focuses on immune tolerance. A healthy immune system must distinguish between harmless signals and dangerous ones. Diets that support gut health help train immune cells to make these distinctions accurately. When this training fails, immune cells become confused, reacting to the wrong signals while ignoring real threats. Proper nutrition restores clarity, allowing immune memory cells to remain quietly vigilant rather than misdirected or suppressed. What all of this reveals is that immune cells are not dormant because they are lazy or broken. They become inactive when the body signals scarcity, stress, or danger at the metabolic level. Food acts as one of the clearest signals of safety and abundance. When nutrients are consistently available, inflammation is controlled and energy is stable. Immune cells interpret this environment as one where defense is possible and worthwhile. Over time, a diet that supports immune readiness reshapes how the immune system behaves. Memory cells become more responsive, communication improves, and activation happens faster and more efficiently. This does not guarantee immunity from illness, but it dramatically improves the body's ability to respond early and effectively. Scientists now understand that immune strength is not built during sickness, but during everyday life, through repeated signals sent by food, hydration, and metabolic balance. In that sense, every meal quietly participates in preparing your immune system for the moment it is needed most. As research continues, scientists are uncovering another critical layer of immune activation: timing and consistency. Immune cells operate on rhythms, much like your sleep-wake cycle. When meals are irregular, nutrient intake is inconsistent, or long periods of undernourishment occur, immune cells receive mixed signals. These signals tell the body that conditions are unpredictable, encouraging immune cells to conserve energy rather than stay prepared. Over time, this pattern can leave immune memory cells alive but slow to respond. Regular, balanced meals send a different message. They create a predictable metabolic environment where immune cells can plan ahead. In this state, immune cells maintain internal stores of energy and nutrients, allowing them to activate rapidly when needed. This is one reason why extreme dieting, chronic fasting without proper planning, or nutrient elimination can weaken immune responsiveness, even if calorie intake appears sufficient. Scientists have also identified stress hormones as powerful regulators of immune cell behavior. Cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, suppresses immune activation when elevated for long periods. Poor dietary habits amplify this effect. Diets high in sugar and low in essential nutrients increase cortisol production and prolong its presence in the bloodstream. When cortisol remains high, immune cells are instructed to stand down. They do not disappear, but they remain in a subdued, low-alert state. Certain nutrients help counteract this effect by supporting the nervous system and hormone balance. Magnesium, B vitamins, and healthy fats play roles in calming stress responses and stabilizing cortisol levels. When stress signals decrease, immune cells receive permission to return to a more responsive state. This does not mean stress disappears, but the immune system becomes less suppressed by it. Another major focus of modern immunology is cellular communication. Immune cells rely on chemical messengers called cytokines to coordinate their actions. These messages tell immune cells when to activate, where to go, and how aggressively to respond. Poor nutrition disrupts cytokine signaling, causing messages to arrive late, weak, or distorted. As a result, immune cells may fail to wake quickly or respond in a coordinated way. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and trace minerals help regulate cytokine balance. They ensure that immune messages are strong enough to trigger action without causing unnecessary inflammation. When signaling improves, immune memory cells can transition from rest to activation smoothly without delay or confusion. Scientists are also paying close attention to the role of aging in immune dormancy. As the body ages, immune cells naturally become less responsive, a process known as immunosenescence. However, research shows that diet can slow this decline. Nutrient-dense diets rich in plant compounds, adequate protein, and healthy fats help preserve immune cell function even in older adults. This suggests that many immune cells labeled as inactive are not lost, but simply undersupported. One particularly interesting area of study involves autophagy, the body's internal recycling system. Autophagy helps immune cells remove damaged components and renew themselves. This process is essential for immune readiness. Certain dietary patterns and nutrients support healthy autophagy, allowing immune cells to stay clean, efficient, and responsive. When autophagy is impaired by poor diet or constant overfeeding of low-quality calories, immune cells accumulate damage and become less capable of activation. Hydration, often overlooked, also plays a role in immune surveillance. Immune cells travel through blood and lymph to monitor the body for threats. When fluid balance is poor, this movement slows. Even slight dehydration reduces circulation efficiency, meaning immune cells take longer to reach areas of infection. While hydration alone does not activate immune cells, it ensures that once activated, they can act quickly and effectively. Scientists emphasize that immune suppression is rarely caused by a single factor. It is the result of layered signals: nutrient deficiency, inflammation, stress, poor sleep, and metabolic imbalance. Food interacts with all of these factors simultaneously. A supportive diet reduces inflammation, stabilizes energy, improves sleep quality, and lowers stress hormones. Together, these effects remove the barriers that keep immune cells in a subdued state. Another important discovery is that immune cells respond not just to what you eat, but to what you eat consistently. Short bursts of healthy eating cannot fully restore immune readiness if followed by long periods of poor nutrition. Immune cells adapt slowly, learning from repeated signals. Over weeks and months of balanced eating, immune cells gradually regain sensitivity and speed. This is why long-term dietary habits matter far more than occasional immune-boosting foods. Scientists now describe immune health as a spectrum rather than a switch. On one end, immune cells are overworked, inflamed, and exhausted. On the other, they are undernourished and inactive. The optimal state lies in the middle, calm, nourished, and alert. Food helps guide the immune system toward this balanced zone where memory cells remain quiet but ready. What emerges from this research is a clear message. Immune cells are not reactivated by dramatic interventions or miracle foods. They awaken when the body signals safety, stability, and support. Nutrition is one of the strongest ways the body communicates those signals. By consistently providing essential nutrients, reducing inflammatory stress, and maintaining metabolic balance, food helps immune cells stay responsive across a lifetime. In this way, the phrase reactivating sleeping immune cells becomes less about sudden awakening and more about long-term preparation. Scientists are discovering that immune strength is built quietly, meal by meal, through the steady reinforcement of biological signals that tell immune cells they are supported, protected, and ready to defend when the moment arrives. The idea that foods can reactivate sleeping immune cells isn't about instant results or miracle ingredients. It's about the signals your body receives over time. When your diet provides stability, essential nutrients, and balance, immune cells interpret that environment as safe and supportive. In response, they stay healthy, responsive, and ready to defend you when it matters most. True immune strength is built long before illness appears, shaped by consistent choices made day after day. By understanding how food communicates with your immune system, you gain the power to support your body's natural defenses in the most sustainable way possible.